Whoa, 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 whoa. What a race it was. Was it a fun race?
Yes. Bye.
No. Yes. Bye bye.
Yes. Bye.
Okay. Uh, Not the best race I think we hoped for, but then quite fun in terms of the action that happened and in terms of the Fernando that happened. Uh, what were your opening thoughts of the race?
I think more than Red Bull winning, for me, I think Fernando won the race. And it definitely seemed like he only won the race because the fans, the commentators, he himself, I think other drivers, everyone was rooting for Fernando, right? But what an amazing race. Yeah. Like you rightly said in the opening remarks, definitely not like what we wanted in terms of like, oh, happening race, but it was there, right? And I think we've got used to such races, right? As Formula One fans, it's not like F2. We were seeing F2, right?
Yeah.
It was just so happening every single moment. There were 5 cars all through. But I think as Formula One fans, we've kind of gotten used to having, yeah, I mean, the spurts of like good races, like good moments in the race. And yeah, I mean, that's what it is. So it was a fun race. It was a fun opening,
It
interesting
was.
race, yeah.
It was absolutely. I mean, F2 was a lot more fun, but then F1 is F1. F1 has got its own marketing. F1 has got its own popularity and charm, right? But the one thing I think we don't see often in F2 is the tire strategies, right? Because it's hardly like 30 laps or 23 laps sprint race, or yeah. But that is what happens in F1, and that's what I think makes it like a mind games and all that, right? So I think, yeah, everything aside, I think it was a decent race, but thanks to Fernando and Aston Martin for changing things up, shaking things up this season a lot than last season, and AMR supremacy starts.
Yeah, AMR supremacy starts. There are two supremacies that are going on currently, right? One Red Bull right in the front when I think they are racing not on Earth, they're probably racing on Mars or something, some other planet, right? They were miles and miles ahead, right? And then there's this midfield supremacy, so to say, like the upper midfield supremacy, which is Aston Martin.
Yeah, and I think Red Bull has now reached that level of dominance that Mercedes used to have earlier. And I think you were telling me about this rumor some time ago that apparently they asked Max and Checo to slow down in the last 10 laps to preserve their engine. And apparently they could have gained like 1 second a lap more. So, um, which is crazy.
Yeah, that means they were not racing actually on Mars. They were probably racing somewhere on Jupiter. I mean, much farther, right? But
Yeah.
then they kind of gave us an illusion that
Yeah,
they're
on the
racing
rings of Saturn, like there is Saturn GP and all that. But it'll be fun, no? Like
Yeah.
to have something like that. Oh man, yeah. How I wish Seb was in the other Aston with Fernando. But yeah, that's all happening in parallel universe right now. In parallel universe, Ferrari are the world champions for this year already. Oh my god.
In the parallel universe, Ferrari's reliability is the best ever,
Yep.
right? In the last 75, 76 years of F1, they have the best reliability in the parallel universe.
What can I say? I mean, I thought nothing can hurt me anymore. And then the first race happens. I mean, I thought that, to break the Bahrain curse of, the thing that's happening for like last 6 years, whoever is winning the Bahrain race is going on to lose the championship, right? From 2017. 2017 Seb, then again Seb in 18, and in 19 I think it was Max. No, it was not Max, it was Valtteri one of the years, and then yeah, it just continued, and it is still continuing. I thought, yeah, Ferrari will come second or third and they'll, break the curse. Who would have thought?
Yeah, but I mean, it's such a concerning thing, right? They changed their team principal. Their strategy guy is back in the factory, right, doing some other work, and they have a new strategy guy. But seems like everything has changed, right? But still nothing has changed. It just feels like the same old Ferrari, right?
Yeah, I saw this meme where, a king is passing on his crown to another king, but they had photoshopped it to look like, the older king is Benotto and he's passing on the crown's hat to Fred, which is quite sad. Also, I think it could be quite judgmental to make any predictions like right now, because this is like first race of the season. But again, like there were no positives. Like last year when Red Bull had double DNF in the first race, there was a positive that they were fast. They were fast like anything. They were unreliable, but they were fast. So that was a positive.
I think two positives, right? One, their strategy has been under heavy criticism, right? But they had such an interesting strategy that we've not seen off late, right? Which is that they sacrificed Charles running in the qualifying so that he had that extra tire to start off with. And that's a nice thing, right? If we kind of extrapolate this whole interesting strategies to the entire season, we might see at least Ferrari covering that base in terms of strategy. My guess, again, it's like a guess, right? Rooting for Indians, right? And the strategy team.
Raveen Jain from Bengaluru.
Yeah.
But the thing is, no, I think most people were on that strategy of soft, hard. But Red Bull did something very interesting with Checo, where in the middle stint, they gave him another set of softs.
Yep.
And with that soft, I mean, their tire deck is so well balanced, Red Bull right now, is that even with that soft, he was able to, run, and obviously he was able to gain an advantage, and he overtook Charles and things like that, right? So, which is crazy because I don't think Ferrari as a car is there yet. I've heard that Aston's tire deck is like very good right now, like they're doing great. But yeah, Ferrari is suffering right now.
Yeah, but I think one more positive for Ferrari is that we spoke about strategy, right? The second positive is they are a safe second, right? Aston cannot touch them, neither can Mercedes, but they also cannot touch Ferrari themselves, cannot touch Red Bull, right? So they are a safe second in the constructors. Definitely not challenging Red Bull, right? Red Bull seems like they're going to win every single race, and I think even Russell has said that, right? Every single race they might win, and it would be so awesome imagine if Max actually won 20 races this year.
What? I don't think it'll be awesome. Yeah, I mean, it would be a thing of greatness for our era to witness. But I mean, as fans, we all want action. We all want some crazy things to happen. We want Fernando on podium, on top step, and things like that. So let's see how the season goes. But Ferrari, like you said, they are a safe second. Yeah, as an aggregate, maybe yes, but currently in standings they are a sad fourth. They should have finished second for sure, but I hope they sort out reliability, or else AMR and Mercedes are just gonna pick up the scraps and just do what they do.
I mean, you mentioned Mercedes and AMR, right? And the whole battle seems to be going to be very interesting, right?
Yes.
Why also? Because I believe, right, and I just hope I'm correct on this point, is that Mercedes has invested, I think, around 20% or something in Aston Martin, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Right? And Toto also has a share, right, in Aston Martin. And yesterday, Aston Martin's share has gone up 15%.
Oh my God.
Not sure if it's exactly because of Fernando or some other factors, but definitely the win is Fernando has actually contributed, right? But indirectly, Mercedes is benefiting, right, from Aston Martin going up. Right, but on the track, I think it's going to be a shame because Lewis, we know, is very competitive and he definitely does not want to end up behind Fernando. It's so interesting because our Mercedes going to come back, and I think Toto is called for a radical change. Right? Are they suddenly going to come back with like taking out the zero side pods, having a much more Red Bull and Ferrari type design? Right? Are they going to come back? And what will be that impact, right, on the standings, right? It's going to impact definitely Aston Martin, right, plus in a positive or a negative way. But it's going to be very interesting to see, right? And I think that change will eventually, they're rallying behind Lewis, like they're saying, we are going to get to that 8th title, right? Will this change actually push them forward in the direction? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I doubt. I mean, uh, it will take them some time, even if they go for like a newer design, the plan B that they have, right? Which I think they will, because Mercedes, they are not happy with second or third, uh, fourth to never. So absolutely, Toto will take his chances, and he'll do anything to get that car ahead. So I think it'll take some time, but that team is meant to rise up from ashes. It's a crazy team. Like, probably, like, that's the reason we saw that dominance that we haven't seen from anybody else, right? So I think they're going to do it, but it is going to be a slow rise.
What are your thoughts on the elephant in the room, Aston Martin?
Oh my God, Fernando Alonso. We're just checking out some of the facts. He's the second. God bless you, Fernando. Bless you. I think like Fernando is the second oldest podium sitter in the history of the sport. First being Michael Schumacher at the age of 43 when he won in 2012 in Valencia. So it's quite interesting, actually. We could also see one of the oldest winner of a GP this year. Like, I'm pretty sure there would be some time when Max and Checo crash into each other, and we could get to see Fernando on top step. You never know.
Interesting. But I think the team itself is going in a very, 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 very positive direction. I think Aston Martin seems to be the phoenix, right? They're rising from the ashes, right? Definitely, as Fernando says, I don't know. There are some believable statements and there are some unbelievable statements like Stroll is a championship material, and recently Fernando said Stroll is his hero because he actually drove with that hand. I mean, fair enough, good positive points for him driving with that hand, right? But I
Yeah.
think certain of these statements are kind of pushed too much.
Very politically correct, diplomatic Fernando, or I don't know if he's genuine Fernando, but I think what he's trying to do, no, he's not trying to be diplomatic and all, but he's just trying to create a good atmosphere within team that will maybe push him to win races. And I think that's very mature of Fernando. I think even Lewis is doing something similar right now. I actually thought that after yesterday's race he would be like, what is this bullshit car and all that, but he was quite positive. He was like,
Yep.
great job, guys. I mean, he said that I quite enjoyed the race and things. He was quite positive about it. Although, yeah, I mean, Toto wasn't quite happy about it, but that's what maturity brings to the sport, right? I mean, that's great. Speaking about Fernando, talking about his ex-team, former team, actually, it was a mixed result for Alpines. Great result for Gasly.
Came from 20th to 9th.
20th to 9th, right? I mean, who'd have thought? Quali time, I really thought that this guy's gone. I mean, he's lost. He's made the wrong decision, things like that. But who are we to judge so fast? And his teammate, what a day he had. Esteban Ocon, like, I feel for you, man. I know that, like, you enjoyed the pit lane quite a bit. I think there's a part, right, where the commentator was going like, if anyone wants to go around the pit lane, I'm sure Esteban can show you around because he's been there for quite a while now. I think it started with the first, the lights out itself, where he was outside the starting position towards the right.
Yep.
And for that he got 5-second penalty, right? And from that 5-second penalty, he got a when he was serving the 5-second penalty, the mechanic touched his car before 5 seconds. So he got a 10-second penalty on that. And when he came to serve that 10-second penalty, he oversped in the pit lane and got 5 more. And apparently he oversped by 0.1 kilometers per hour. That is like really sad.
Couple of pit lane things, because I think Norris also came into pit lane 6 times. It was like, if on one side there was Ocon doing this joker shit, on the other side Norris had a reliability issue and he came to pit lane 6 times, and
Wow.
I think if I read it right, he said this was pit lane practice or something like the whole pit stop practice that these guys were doing,
Oh
right?
my.
But what a bad day for McLaren also, right? It was
Yeah.
yeah, horrible.
Actually, speaking about Lando Norris, there was one moment where Sainz, Fernando, Sainz, and Hamilton were in like a DRS train, and they were chasing the shit out of each other, and then there is suddenly an imposter behind, like, hey, that guy is one lap behind Lando. Oh my god.
And he had DRS for no
Yeah,
reason.
he had DRS. He just kept pushing on, and then suddenly he'd be like, "Hey, I'm tired. Let me
Yeah,
go to
let me
pit
go
lane."
into pit lane. Oh God! But what a disastrous day for McLaren.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Let's see how their season plays out, right? But Williams started off on a very positive note, right? Their guys on, I think 10th, right? Albon was 10th,
Yep.
and Sargent was I think 12th or 3rd.
12th.
Yeah, 12th, right?
12th or yeah, 12th, I think.
Yeah,
12th or 13th.
yeah. I think also keeping in mind that they started 15th and 18th, right? So was a good day for Williams, right? And it's always there was not a lot of talk or a lot of showing of those Williams cars, but I think they actually went ahead, right? So interesting things in the starting to light up in the midfield, right? Maybe it's too early to take a call what would happen in the midfield, but yeah, I think couple of retirement, couple of reliability issues from everyone, right? Right from Ferrari, Leclerc actually stopping on the track. I think Halpin,
Halpan Karg.
Nico Hulkenberg had some reliability issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hulkenberg had reliability issues, right? McLaren had reliability issues. Yeah, so I think pretty much interesting season starter,
Yeah.
right?
I think one guy who was a dark horse yesterday, who quietly just did his race and got points, was Valtteri.
Yep.
Uh, I love that guy. I mean, Valtteri is so underrated. I mean, he's so quiet. He's fast. He's fast as fuck. But then he just does his job, and he gets P8, drinks a beer, and just leaves. I mean, has to be the coolest guy ever. I mean, what a guy. I love that guy.
Yeah. But I think, yeah, interesting with this race on our side, right? Done and dusted. We're going to Saudi next. Interesting circuit, one of the craziest circuits ever, right? One of the most
fastest street
controversial.
circuit.
Yeah. Controversial, fastest. What's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Are we going to find a kind of a repeat of the same scenario, right? What are your thoughts?
I think, see, last year and last to last year, we had like two great races at Jeddah. Last to last year was a solid popcorn race because the amount of accidents, the amount of, line cuttings, lane cuttings, and Max cutting chicane, crossing Lewis, then, Lewis brake testing this guy, Max. Oh my God, that was crazy. Last year it was more about battle of brains between Charles and Max.
Max.
It was all about taking the last DRS and just gaining advantage there, right? So yeah, it's going to be fun. I think it's all going to be mind games, and this year somehow I have a feeling that if not Checo, then Fernando might play those mind games with Max, or probably it could be that Max is all ahead and Checo and Alonso could be fighting for something like this. So I hope Ferrari doesn't have a reliability issue, but yeah, I mean, Jeddah could again be another controversial race. What are your thoughts?
I think it's going to be interesting to see the midfield, right? McLaren. What are they really, right? Is their pace good? Because from what I was given to understand, their pace was encouraging, right? But they had reliability issues, right? So will they iron out that piece, right? So I think more of a battle of midfield teams. I think that's what's going to be interesting to see in Jeddah, right? At the top, we pretty much know that Red Bull is going to be on top. Safe second Ferrari. I think fighting between Mercedes and Aston Martin, right? But I think some interesting bits playing out in the midfield. I think that's where we got to keep our eyes open.
Yeah, absolutely. I really hope that we get some great battles at the front or in the midfield for that matter. I mean, uh, looking forward, but again, it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks feels so long now.
Yeah.
I just forgot that we just waited entire like 4 months.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's going to one thing is going to be very interesting to see how many red flags will come out in Jeddah, right? We've not seen a red flag until I mean it's been one race, right? It's not we've not even seen a safety car in the first stage. We've seen a virtual safety car.
Yeah.
Right. So will we have a safety car? Will we have a red flag? How will those things turn around? Because the minute you have safety car, red flag, your tire strategies come into play, people start pitting, right? It's going to be a hell chaotic moment, right?
Absolutely. I mean, people can ignore all the red flags in their relationships, but they can't ignore a red flag in Jeddah for sure. So yeah, let's look forward to it. Definitely one red flag, I believe, this year also. So yeah, that was our review of Bahrain and preview of Jeddah. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, folks, because the Right Now Formula One show is back with a lot more content.
Hasta la vista, la baby.